we're seeing a clear reset in the relationship between brands and consumers. In today's purposeful economy, trust and transparency are no longer optional. They are very central to how consumers choose, how they stay loyal, and how they engage. Our next panel examines how brands are responding to this very shift by embedding purpose into everyday decisions and culture and reshaping the brand equation where credibility, impact, and long-term growth come together. To lead this next conversation, please welcome Fouzdar. And joining him for this session are Kunwar Himmat Singh, Director Corporate Affairs, Nestle India. Also joining him, Deepak Gupta, co-founder and CEO, Bombay Shaving Company. And Dimple Fouzdar, founder and creative director, Maison Fouzdar. Let's give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome everyone. Today when we look at purpose economy, brands today are going towards sustainability and the purpose that today the consumers are looking forward to. In the need of this hour, Dimple, I want to understand more from you how a brand like you can enhance this communication and purpose for its consumers.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, smelling is one of our 5 senses, and I feel it's really underutilized. In India, we are actually not using our sense of smell so much. So I really wanted to, give this experience to people where people actually can elevate their lifestyles by and through fragrances. It is something that truly can and has the ability to make our lives much better. And we do all of this through very, ethical practices. We make sure that India has a world-class product and something that can be represented globally. And India, though it's been a provider and it produces a lot of raw materials for perfumery, but never has it been, no Indian brand has been represented in the global platform. And I wanted to do that.
But how important is it for a brand like you to join hands for this purpose and push towards such communications towards its consumers?
So we, whatever we are building, we do it with our audience. Everything we share on our social media so that people know exactly what we are doing. There's nothing hidden. Everything is out there for people to see and to trust us. Because, in today's day and age, trust is everything. And me as a founder, I make sure that I'm there to address everything, to give people that comfort and, tell them that we are building something truly of value.
Right. Himmat, Nestle India does a lot of ESG and CSR responsibility activities. How do you take this narrative forward when there is a lot of noise around in the social media? And how do you make sure that brands and the consumers are communicated with that message?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me over here. It's been a very Tata-heavy session for very good reasons. But I must say that we are a company, Nestle, which, like the Tatas, is slightly older than Tatas. We are about 63 years old. And there are good reasons for that. And the reason is, somewhere along the line, there is purpose embedded in everything that we do. It's in our DNA. Okay? Much before the word CSR, as you alluded to, became fashionable, we developed something called creating shared value. It's a global thing. CSR only happens in India. But it's a philosophy which, if you come to our office, you meet our employees, you will sense a certain trait of humility, empathy, and respect. And that respect is not just to the consumers, not just to our suppliers, not to our customers, it's also amongst each other. And we always say that if you did not get your act right, you would not survive for 160 years. It's for a very good reason. We are in 185 countries. We are the world's largest food and beverage company. And the only reason is because we stayed true to our course. Just now, the member of parliament on the way out, she exchanged something very interesting, and she said, oh, I've grown up on Maggie. I recently went somewhere and I had Maggie and something. It just tells you the love and affection that the brand has created over the years. It's because it's always stayed true to its purpose. It's stayed true to its values. And that's what we do in Nestle. And that's how we are able to manage the noise which is there in social media sometimes. You have to speak your truth. You have to speak it honestly, with dignity, but with facts. So it's not that we have not faced issues. Of course we have faced issues. But because we've been able to sort of overcome that with fact-based, science-based, honest, straightforward answers, we have come back and how. So that's really been our approach towards social media and the noise which is there, is to treat it not like a slugfest, because that's no win, it's a very slippery slope, but to get our act right, speak our truth and say it with dignity.
Right. Today, earlier in the day, Union Minister Chirag Paswan rightly noted that influencers are spreading a lot of misinformation around food products. And a brand like Nestle has also faced similar kind of backlash on social media. How do you cut the noise and break through this kind of narrative setup?
It's the honest truth. Fake news or false news or incorrect news travels around the world before the truth is just about tying its shoelaces. Let's be honest. We all like sensationalism. We all like spicy news, which may or may not be substantiated. Food is such a personal emotion for everyone, and it's only natural that people kind of speculate. This has got this has got that. But you have to stay the course. You have to stay the course. State your facts with science, with all the standards that you have to be extremely transparent. As she was saying, that you have to believe the philosophy of sharing what you have. So if there is noise, which occasionally it does manifest, we stay our course. We don't lose our head. We don't try to be too smart about these things. Just speak our truth.
Right. Deepak, Bombay shaving has seen a tremendous growth, consumer love in the Indian market. How do you move this conversation to extend the brand purpose among your consumers?
So we just completed 10 years. I think in a journey of building consumer brands, and the example is on my left side. It's a long journey. But we believe that being a new age consumer brand, there are few things we can do. Frankly speaking, in the journey of brand building, capital is never surplus. And you also need to kind of burn to kind of reach to a certain trial awareness for the brand. But what we can do as a brand, we believe that we can still spread spirit of entrepreneurship in a lot of young Indians. So for example, what we talk internally is that we are the brand for young entrepreneurial Indians. And we do this in many ways. For example, we have invested in, 30 young startups through a fund we created within the company. We incubate a lot of startups within our office. They basically initially don't have office space. They work out of our office, and then kind of once they expand, they move out and work.
I mean, I wanted to come to that point wherein newer brands, do they have enough budgets to allocate, or are they doing it? I'm sure that it is an integral part, because today Gen Zs are also looking for more than what a brand gives. So are they doing it right now in India?
India is, I think it's just at the explosion of aspiration, where the rat race of acha padho, where you get into a job and then figure out what you have to do in life is changing completely. Now kids getting into their 12th standard, like we have interns who have just passed 12th and they want to start on their own. Right? So it's completely changing. How do we kind of, in our small way, ignite that fire and give them platform to just kind of try it, is something we are enabling as an organization. But a long way to go.
Right. Dimple, luxury brands often face this issue wherein you put in the brand messaging with ESG and sustainability, but it comes with a cost, right? It comes with a price. Are consumers looking into it to buy such products? How are you looking at the transformation towards these brands? How are you doing it for your brand itself?
Fortunately or unfortunately, people in India are still very price conscious, and they are still looking for, they are compromising on the quality for a cheaper price. But we stuck to our grounds because I truly believe that people should use the best, feel the best. So we chose not to compromise on the quality. And that's why whatever we source, first of all, it's ethically sourced, and we chose the highest quality ingredients. Even the artisans, even the perfumers, I could have easily chosen French perfumers, but I chose Indian perfumers to showcase their talents and, thereby building something holistical and something Indians can be proud of and can really enjoy wearing what they are wearing.
Right, but then on one hand, when we talk about sustainability, we are also seeing growth of fast fashion in India, right? And it keeps on burdening the ecosystem. Do you think there is a way to cut down on such environment mess that they do?
I mean, fast fashion and cheap perfumes are flooded in the market. And though people are aware of all these things about sustainability and whatever, but when they are actually purchasing it, that time I think they are not guided by, the sustainable thing in mind. They eventually do end up buying what they wish to, or whatever they see on Instagram, whatever ads are playing everywhere. But I think now there are a section of people who are becoming more aware, and I think gradually this will, with talks like these, people are going to have more awareness.
Right. Himmat, we also saw in the US wherein President Donald Trump has cut down on the ESG. All MNCs are operating in India. How do you think that has made a transformation or change as to how ESG is looked into India, because the policy has changed in US as well?
So, I won't speak about people come and go in governance. That's fine. But I think for us, for companies like us, ESG is part of the philosophy of being sensitive to the environment where we work, in the communities where we work, for the larger good. We are here for the long term. We do not believe that if you do not talk, it's all very good to talk about pricing and performance and all of that. But if you don't have a larger purpose, and ESG is part of being sort of sensitive, I don't think you can survive. I mean, pricing may just open a door. The performance of the product may sort of get you in. But if you want to stay as a company for the long term, you have to be sensitive to the society, to the communities, have a long-term vision of giving back. There was a fantastic presentation earlier by the gentleman from Bisleri, and it was eye-opening. He said, as much water we take out, we plow back 4.7 or something to that extent. Unless corporations talk about giving back, it doesn't matter about whether ESG, what we're talking about is compliances, one country may insist, the other may not insist, that's fine. But as an organization like us, for us, we are in it, we are committed to it for the long term.
Let me ask you again, have you seen a cutback in the MNCs, which are US headquartered, doing it in India as well? Do you see a change of approach in the ESG?
Not in India, I'll be honest. I think people are staying to the course. I don't think people react. They do realize that there is, there's the politics of the world, and then there is the business of the world. There is, at the end of the day, we are all humans first. We understand certain models. He understands his model very well. And it doesn't matter how, the power shifts and the geopolitiks and all. It's part and parcel of it. But I think companies do stay the course on certain, and certainly on values. And that's, I'll leave it at that. Values are non-compromisable. Everything else can change. Pricing can change, product can change, packaging can change. I don't think values change. If they change, then the company doesn't survive for too long.
Also, do you think with bigger organizations, is there a bigger onus on them to give more to the country or towards ESG and sustainability? How do you look at it, and are we still falling short in terms of that?
So we are falling short, yes. We can do a lot more. Is there the onus of more responsibility for bigger organizations? Certainly. Certainly. Having said that, it should be a level playing field. I think it's not as if only certain organizations of a certain scale ought to be compliant and the rest can get away with it. But that aside, I certainly think because the impact is more, we are involved and engaged commercially with a larger audience. We certainly have a duty of doing that much and more than what is perhaps mandated. So I don't think it's about, I think it's about going beyond the compliance level. It's beyond the 2% CSR or whatever we are saying. It's about genuinely believing that purpose helps your business.
Right. Deepak, we have seen D2C brands scaling, growing and contributing to India's economy. But how important it is for them to look into ESG as, not as a, काम करना है इसलिए कर रहे हैं, but to make sure कि it makes an impact.
I think very fair. While there is a new consumerism and needs are evolving because consumers are able to kind of earn more, spend more, they want to save less. Because of that, the new age brands have been able to come up, thrive and then expand. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of opportunities which large organizations, because of inherent structure, are not able to solve for the country, and that's the opportunity for the younger brands to actually tap onto. And because, for example, we are in business of making razors, and one of the latest razor we launched is called Eco Razor, where we use the stubble being burned in Punjab as a raw material to make the handle of the razor. So again, this for our competitor, who is a large organization, to do will structurally is not possible. Great brand, again deep pockets, but structurally not possible. But for us, when we are kind of thinking of an idea, we could do this because we are starting from the scratch. So again, I think inherently, if we believe in that we are building from India for the world, we care for the country, we care for the community, I think the newer companies have significant opportunity to create massive difference through the initiatives that even larger organizations are not able to do.
Right. But tell me, I know Shantanu is quite active on social media platforms everywhere. Does your consumer come to Shantanu and say, hey, I need a sustainable product from you, I need this from you, can you do it for us?
Yeah, so in fact, one of the strength of a brand is that we are always in front of the consumer. And we believe that the new age consumer, again, is not buying into the brand story. They are buying into what you are. Does the consumer entrust you with the responsibility that you are speaking in front of the camera? And we live it. In fact, a lot of the people we interview for jobs, they actually know about the company more than us. Right? So same for the consumer, because we are on social media all the time, they are very demanding, and it put a lot of pressure on us to solve it for them. We have done a fair bit of that, and we'll continue to kind of get better.
Have you faced that thing, that we need some more packaging, sustainable packaging methods, this, that? I mean, what are consumers telling you, and is that converting into revenues or a growth in your sales?
Absolutely. I think consumers are extremely vocal. They are extremely expressive. And if you do not pick the vibe, you do not read the room, we'll be out. And, there's a very good example, as he mentioned, of, buying a stubble and making a razor. If that becomes a talking point, then the competitor better wake up. The size cannot be the issue that they can't do it. So having said that, so yes, I think consumers do come to us. They do sound out their sensitivities, their preferences. And if we do not listen very, very carefully, we don't last too long.
My last question, tell me, in coming next 5 years, do you think the new brand equation in India would be price, performance or purpose?
I think performance is the first and foremost most important factor. Next, I think, will be purpose. And purpose will again play at the top end of the segment. And pricing, of course, will remain as the mass kind of a segment. Pricing will matter there. But without performance, just purpose alone or price alone cannot determine the, growth or success of a company or a brand.
Right, but then performance and purpose should go hand in hand, don't you think so?
I think for me, at least, performance comes before purpose. But, purpose, of course, people do want to, but eventually, I think it has to be a bit of all three. But ideally, of course, purpose. But in reality, I think it should be performance, purpose, and pricing. But as we go forward, we hope it is purpose.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.